Mrs Lee Kuan Yew, wife of Minister Mentor and mother of Prime Minister Hsien Loong, died on Saturday at 5:40 p.m. She was 89 and passed away peacefully at home in Oxley Road. The wake for Mrs Lee will be held at Sri Temasek, official residence of the Prime Minister at the Istana grounds on Monday and Tuesday. Members of the public can pay their last respects then from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The family has requested that no obituaries, wreaths or flowers to be sent. All donations will go to the National Neuroscience Institute Health Research Endowment Fund. A statement from the Prime Minister's office said that a private funeral will take place at Mandai Crematorium on Wednesday. Mrs Lee, whose maiden name is Kwa Gyok Chu, was an intensely private person who kept a very low profile in public. But she had been a pillar of support to Minister Mentor Lee Kuan Yew, the father of modern Singapore. In an interview with the New York Times in September, Minister Mentor Lee Kuan Yew said that his most difficult moments come at the end of each day as he sits by the bedside of Madame Kwa, who had been unable to move or speak for more than 2 years. Madame Kwa met Mr Lee at Raffles College in 1940. The couple were keen intellectual rivals who later fell in love and married about 10 years later. Among her achievements, she helped set up law firm Lee & Lee with her husband and his brother. It is one of the largest firms here. In interviews with a senior Straits Times journalist, Minister Mentor Lee said that while she did not give him political advice, she was a discerning judge of character. During the tumultuous period when Singapore and Malaysia were trying to merge, Madame Kwa's intuition kicked in, and she told Mr Lee that a merger would not work. She was proven right when Singapore left Malaysia just 2 years after the merger. As Mrs Lee was very discreet, what is known of her life and personality was viewed through her husband's eyes in his 2-part memoirs. In the first volume of his memoirs, The Singapore Story, Mr Lee portrayed her as an independent-minded and devoted wife who was a tower of strength and had given him constant emotional and intellectual support. In the book, he recalled that she would stay up with him as he worked and would even polish his speeches in his early political life when he had little time to do so. Mrs Lee, reputed to be a good conveyancing lawyer, also had a hand in the separation agreements with Malaysia and had helped include the critical water agreement with Johor. The Lees were inseparable. In spite of poor health after her stroke in 2003, she still accompanied Minister Mentor Lee to political events. So at every turn of their 63 years of marriage, Mrs Lee always found a way to throw her love and support behind the father of modern Singapore.
He had tremendous aplomb, self-confidence, very jaunty. He was a handsome young man.
Mrs Lee was once asked by a journalist if their romantic school years in Cambridge had changed. Mrs Lee's answer was that one change is that they have grown older. And when the interviewer cheekily asked if their relationship remained from black hair to white hair, she said, "Black hair to no hair."